Seyon Garnier. He's one of the top freestylers. Really sweet guy. Awesome. I've seen him play in games, like in proper games.
Okay.
Dude, the guy can play, but if you put him in a proper environment, like he doesn't stand out.
No.
He plays simple more often than not. The F2 guys, though, Billy's great. Jeremy hates me because every time they post something, I'm like, you're doing these moves against defenders that aren't even defending. Like, we talk about role models, right? We talk about role models and how to play the game correctly. These moves don't work in a game. And I did one of those Wembley Cups, and we played against the F2 guys. There's 30,000 people at Wembley. Most of them are there for F2. And I, run around with Jeremy, and I'm like, you're going to do one of these moves? That's why these kids are out here. But he honestly, for 90 minutes, didn't do any of his moves because he knows they don't work in a real game. And that's what frustrates me about that. That's one of my pet peeves. I completely, these guys have more like skill than I'll ever have. But when it comes to the game itself, it's not a disrespect to their skill and their ability, nor their grind. Those guys grind to get better.
Like ballers.
But there's a but there because it doesn't translate to the real game. And that frustrates me because then you have all these kids that are trying to emulate something. And those guys take 80 takes as well. It's not like they do everything first time. So
exactly. And the same with us. And when I do the moves, and especially I'm trying to explain, that's the entire, as you've used the word crux, that's the entire crux of our channel. This will work for you in a game. I know that because of not only have I watched Ronaldinho do it, I watched Ronaldinho do it, figured out what was good about it, applied it to my game, and then did it in the game. Here's how I did that.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
That's how I try to pass along the information. And so I'm all for all the tricks and all the things that they've done. And how the way that I play, that I enjoy all this stuff, and I've got the ability to do those things. And if I were to quit playing football right now, I'm sure that I could be quite the freestyler if you give me 10 years.
No question.
I have no doubt about this.
It would take you less than 10 years. Less than 10 years.
Totally. I agree. And so within every footballer, there is a freestyler. For a freestyler, you can't just take that training and just apply it to the game. And so that is a message that needs to be said. It's not a knock on any of them, but there has to be a separate form for that world.
Well, that's why I appreciate your content, because you are, even when you go to coach, right? It's the kids have to understand when and where to use these particular moves. They need to understand the timing of it, the in relation to what's happening, right? There's so much spatial awareness that you have to have as well that get factor into this type of decision making. I when I coach, and I coach a 4th Division USL League 2 team, I tell my guys that I'm going to set parameters. There's certain things that I want us to do. I want us to move as a group, our team shape. But I understand also, because I was a player once too, there's a certain part of the game that you love. That's why you play. There's something that you're drawn to. And for some of you guys, it's taking people on 1v1. I don't want to take that away from you. What I want us to do is to put you in a position to do that successfully, and not where you're on an island and you're trying to do it all by yourself. We're going to try to shape our team into a spot where if we have someone as talented as Will John, we get you in a spot where you're starting to pick up the ball in between the lines, maybe 5-10 yards off the top of the box, where you can turn and run at people. Like, that's what we want to do, and then you can be yourself. But if all these kids are trying these moves or doing Pana, just to do it, dude, whatever. It's just frustrating. So I really appreciate your content, and I think that's what separates it. Cool. Because you do give it a real life component, whether it's you pulling it off or Ronaldinho or whoever it may be. The fact that they can see it and there's a tangible, a visual that they can rely on and understand when and where. I mean, that's really important.